Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Keemah.G. Who else would it be? And it's been about 4 weeks that you've seen your sister. I know. I've been away with my boys, spending time with my boys and really doing the work that I needed to do in my house. Sometimes it piles up, and me, I like clutter. I don't like clutter at all, you know? So I can't get back these years with my sons. They're 2 years old. So I decided to say, you know what, peace for a moment. I let y'all know on social media, peace for a moment, but I'm back, and I'm back with episode 21. And I chose to do this title. This title I chose for episode 21 because friendships have been on my spirit lately. And from the day I decided to do that inner work and recommit myself to building a relationship with God, God was showing me a lot about relationships, how they have played a positive and a negative in my life. But for each relationship, they were definitely helping me to grow into the person that I am today and that I will be in the future, right? But I do know that relationships are at a struggle right now. Friendships, marital relationships, couples, but friendships was on my spirit. So I titled it Season, Reason, or Lifetime. And I'm sure y'all heard that saying so much times. I heard that saying, I think it was like a Medea clip or something like that. And it just clicked with me. So I'm sure you've heard this conversation about season, reason, and lifetime, people. But y'all never heard it from Key. And y'all haven't heard what God has been downloading in me. So as he downloads it in me, I'm going to share it with you guys. So let's get into episode 21. Stick with me for a bit longer as I share with you this part of my journey. So this is my question for you guys. Have you ever looked at someone that you used to know everything about and realized that they're now strangers? Or maybe, just maybe, you wonder why that someone who once felt permanent quietly became a memory. I think one of the hardest parts of growing up isn't changing yourself. It's realizing that not everyone is meant to change with you. Today, like I said before in the beginning of this episode, I had said that I wanted to talk about friendships, about people who come into our lives for seasons, reasons, or a lifetime. And while learning the difference can completely change how we experience our friendships. It could completely change it. And when you're looking back at friendships that no longer are relevant to today, or they have passed, or they're not the same as they used to be, if we understand seasons, reasons, and lifetime, we'll experience relationships different. So when it comes to the road that it comes to, and maybe you realize that, okay, that was for a season, that was definitely for a reason, you don't feel so attached to the relationship ending, and you don't take it as a disappointment, you know? And I had to learn that throughout this journey, because friendships was something that was major, that God was trying to show me and get me to understand. And I think I said this in one of my other videos. In 2017, he told me I was feeling like, I wasn't even feeling, I knew for sure that God was showing me to evaluate the relationships around me. And I had already learned seasons, reasons, and lifetimes. So when I had to evaluate the relationships around me, and some relationships did end, I think that was the first time ever I didn't feel so, disappointed. I was more disappointed by the fact of how the other people acted, because I was just like, we didn't end on bad terms, you know, so there's no need to take it to social media or the internet. Like, it's not that deep. But I guess for them it was deep. Let me not lack any empathy up here, but if I'm going to speak from a place of transparency, that's exactly how I felt. So let's get into those seasonal people in your life. These are people who were exactly what you needed during a certain chapter in your life. They could have been a coworker, someone that you went to the gym with. They could have been a classmate, college friends, university friends, or maybe there was somebody that came into your life who helped you heal after heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? These people are only there for a season. And I think that these relationships are beautiful because as you get older, even though you're not as close, when you guys reunite, it's all love, it's all good energy. I think most of the time, if you had a good experience, I'll give an example. When I used to work at Farmer Pre in Cote Uptown, that's where I started, Uptown. So when I used to work Uptown, it's a multicultural community. So you have your Filipinos, you have Sri Lankans, you have your Indians, you have your Caribbeans, Jamaicans, Trinis, Vincies, and together we all worked. I think I had a great rapport with mostly everybody there. Maybe one or two people that pissed me off one time, but I had a good rapport with them. It was always good energy, and we kind of cultivated a support system for the time that we were working there. But outside of work, we didn't really talk, and outside of work, and even when I quit, we never really kept in contact. But for that season that they were in my life, they were truly a blessing, and I hope that I was a blessing for them. So they weren't a mistake because they didn't stay. What I understand and what I come to realize is that they completed the assignment they were meant to complete. And now that it's complete, you guys could go your separate ways. And my college friends did their job. I did my job as a college friend, or a person in their life, a coworker. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of relationships. And I think those relationships are healthy because community and connection is very important as we travel throughout this world and we hit different milestones in life. Because some of those people that I worked with not some, but one in particular who I worked with at Pharmaprix, I remember seeing her in the hospital when I was getting a surgery. You know what I'm saying? And she really showed me love. So there's nothing wrong with seasonal people in your life, but just understand that sometimes they're just there for a season. Now, let's get into those reasonable people. Let's get into those reason people in your life, you know? What I learned and what I know to be true to this day is that reason people, these are people who teach you something in life. The lessons don't always come easy. Some lessons do come easy, but some lessons don't come easy. Maybe they're there to challenge you. Maybe they're there to hurt you. Maybe they're there to inspire you. And maybe they're there to help you discover yourself, and whichever one fits the category. I like to believe my main category and my experience when it comes to reason people is they were there to hurt me, inspire me, and they were there to help me discover something about myself. I don't always think that hurt is there to beat you up and bring you down. I think that hurt and pain is trying to grow you up, and it may not come the way that we like it. But after every lesson, every disappointment, every hurt, I know from my experience that I've always discovered a stronger version of myself. I unveiled something that I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So whether we like the way these reason people come into your life, at the end of the day, they're there to teach you something. They're not there to stay. Sometimes they're not even there for just a season. Sometimes they're there for like 12 seasons, and they're there for long periods of time sometimes. Sometimes they're there for short periods of time. But when they do leave, you have learned something. And that's what I've come to understand about people that come into your life for a reason. I'm going to give an example. I have so many examples, but I'm trying to think right now. I used to talk to somebody, and I think I said this before. When we stopped talking, because I had I remember, if you don't see that video before, how I healed my abandonment wound, I had an abandonment wound. And we used to talk before, and when the relationship was not going to transition into a full commitment, I thought to myself, like, okay, damn, I was really disappointed. But even in my disappointment, even in the fact that I didn't like how that person moved in the end, I said to myself that this person was here for a long amount of time, but I clearly understand the reason as to why that person came into my life. When I was grieving, two, that person had a very strong relationship with God. So by seeing their relationship with God, it led me to feel inspired by that person. And it drew me to going deeper with my relationship with God. So despite there were certain things that I didn't like in the end, I'm never going to take away from the fact that I understand why this person came into my life and spent 5 seasons. One season is a year. And spend 5 seasons, because that person was there to teach me how to have a stronger relationship with God. It's good to look at the good and the negative in people, because when you do, at least for me, I think the people that have come in my life, I think their good overpowers their bad. Sometimes the bad shit was just the bad shit. Maybe one or two of them, no, they're bad overpowered their good. But you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. So some people don't come to stay. They come to reveal something inside of you that you didn't even know lived there. And that's the reason why these people are, you could call them reason people. That come into your life for a reason. And it's difficult, those people, because sometimes, because they stay so long, you build such a rapport and you build so much memories. So when you have to let go, that could be a difficult thing. But when you learn to find the reasons why people are in your life and you make sense out of it, the peace comes faster once you let go. And that's what I'm learning from my own journey and this walk with the God. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into them lifetime people. Lifetime people. I say that with a smile, like, honest to God. I say lifetime people with a smile because there's very few and far in between. Not a lot of people could travel with you during every milestone or every change that happens within your life. But what I know to be true is that lifetime friendships aren't built because two people never change. They're built because two people keep choosing each other through the change. The biggest misunderstanding I know to be true about friendship is how people often think that lasting friendships mean staying exactly the same. Instead, real friendship isn't finding someone who never changes. And I think that's impossible. If you could find someone that has never changed in their life, that's great. But everybody is changing. Maybe not as constant as another person, but people change. And real friendship is finding someone who is willing to meet every new version of you. I'll give an example. So, say for example, you become a mother. So, you become a parent, or you start to build a business. You become more confident. It doesn't have to be stuff that are tangible. You get sober. You start to find your passion in life. Some people are going to say that you've changed. Some people are going to say, well, you changed, and you're not the same anymore. But a real friend is going to say, okay, tell me about who you're becoming. Telling me about what's this new change happening in your life. They're going to inquire about those new changes. You know what I'm saying? So to think that friendships never change or has to remain the same, that's not a friendship. A friendship is a person that could travel with you during every version of yourself. And that's what makes a friendship so beautiful, because we may not be at the same stages, but we respect each other for where we are and we love each other for where we are. And if one is at a stage that is compromising to themselves, we meet them where they are. We don't stay where they are. But real friendships, we could pull each other up. So I think that's one of the biggest misunderstanding, is that people be like, oh, well, you changed, well, you changed. And yeah, did you expect me to stay the same? Like, I don't expect you to stay the same. But through every single change or milestone in my life, if a friendship could survive that, then y'all are doing good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are doing really, really good. But and this is what I should have realized when I was younger. And this is where I made the mistake, is because I'll take ambition for one. Like I would say I'm an ambitious person, not overly ambitious, but I'm ambitious. I believe I have confidence in that area to go for the things that I want. And through some milestones, I remember graduating. School was not an easy thing for me. So when I did do it and I came this far with education, I said, I didn't think I was going to make it that far. My goal was to just find a way to get rich, run my own stuff, And I remember when those milestones came for me, some of those friends weren't there, like they weren't there to do the clap, clap, or they weren't there to do the, I think that when things are changing in people's life, that's when you need your friends the most. That's when people should show up and clap for each other, or cry with each other, or mourn with each other. You know what I'm saying? That makes a strong friendship, and that's what a friendship is. So don't think that when someone starts to change, don't say, oh, well, you've changed. Say, tell me about, this change and what's going on in your life and who you're becoming. Don't be the friend that be like, she's different, she's not the same anymore, because that means it's all about you. You know what I'm saying? I remember one girl turned around and told me, well, I don't know how I'm supposed to, like, you're not the same ever since your grandmother died, and I think we could be friends when we're older. Okay, deuces, peace, see you later. Like, who says that, Anyways, but that was definitely a seasoned person. Definitely, no, not a season, definitely a reasoned person. And they spent a lot of seasons trying to show me that reason. But all love, shout out to her. You know what I'm saying? There's no love lost. Shout out to her. Reciprocity, this is the emotional center of a friendship. That's what I believe. I don't believe that friendships are about keeping score. I believe that friendships, they're naturally reciprocal. And things like showing up for each other, celebrating each other's wins, giving grace. We're not going to be perfect. So sometimes we're going to have to give grace to each other, because sometimes we're going to mess up as friends. Apologizing, taking accountability, and showing up for each other. You know what I'm saying? Showing up for each other. This is what makes the relationship reciprocal. This is what makes the foundation strong. And reciprocity doesn't always mean that it's going to be 50-50. Sometimes that person is carrying a little bit more because they have to. Then later the other person carries a little bit more because they have to. But over the years, it's a balance, because both people care. And I think caring is very important in friendships. I know this from experience, that one-sided friendships eventually become obligation instead of relationship. And that is draining. And many times I've been put in the position to be in one-sided friendships, especially when I was younger. And it was exhausting. It was exhausting, because at this point you see the person, you're showing up for the person, you're there for the person. But then after, when shit hits the fan, it's like, where are they to call? Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's when you're younger. That's when I was younger, But I do believe that reciprocity is very important for friendships. And that's what really sustains lifetime friendships. And those are people that you could really say that this is my friend. You know what I'm saying? It's a healthy relationship. It's a balanced relationship. It's reciprocal. They genuinely care. They genuinely show up. And that's what makes they care about your needs. Like, I wanted to mention that because it was in my head. I was trying to find that. They care about your needs and you care about them. And once you guys are both committed to doing your best to meet their needs, who's going to complain? You know what I'm saying? It's like a good sisterhood, a good brotherhood. And I think everybody needs that, because I know this to be true. And I've done a study on this in university, where mental wellness, your friendships impact your mental wellness tremendously. Your relationships, I say friendships, but I'm talking about friendships today, but overall in general, your relationships is what really speaks to your mental wellness in many situations in life. And as much as people want to say, I don't need nobody, I don't really like people, there's one person that you need. Everybody needs somebody, even if it's just one person, because, like I've said it many times, we weren't put on this earth to be by ourselves. Humans are supposed to interact. It's good for us. It's good for our nature. It's good for our mental wellness. And you want to make sure that those relationships that you're cultivating are well balanced. And a well balanced relationship is a reciprocal relationship. Okay? It may seem transactional, but it's not. Transactional is like, okay, they did something for me, so I'm going to do something for me. That's transactional. When it's reciprocal, it goes without saying. You know what I'm saying? And if you have one or two people like that in your life, you're set. You're good. You are good. And that's what makes the relationship beautiful. Accepting that some friendships end. We talk a lot about grieving romantic relationships, and we don't talk enough about grieving friendships. What I'm learning is that it's okay to appreciate someone without forcing them to stay. So when I look back on a friendship that's ended, I could look back and say, okay, we had great experiences. We had fun times. I could look at the positive things, and I could look at those moments as good memories, even though it's come to an end, instead of trying to force it to stay where it is when we know that it's leading us to separate paths. I had to learn too that not every ending is a betrayal. Sometimes it feels like that because you're just like, I warmed up to the person and we started to connect, and how did it just drift away? And what I had realized is that sometimes it's simple, and it's very simple. It's just that two people are growing in two different directions. And that doesn't mean that the love wasn't there. That doesn't mean that you don't care about that person. It just means that two people are growing in two different directions. So eventually what ends up happening when you're not walking, not the same path, but when you guys are not in alignment, it's going to shift, and that's perfectly fine. This is where you learn to accept that when you look back, that maybe that person was for a reason, or maybe that person was for a season. Either way, holding on to someone who's already outgrown the relationship often hurts more than honoring what it was or what it once was. So if you're grieving a friendship right now, don't take it lightly, because it's a real thing. But when you look back on it, I think us as humans, we have to start looking at the good and not focusing on what didn't work. Because oftentimes, if we're able to look at the positive side to things, it will shape our minds differently. And then we're able to find and understand, what was that person in my life for? And I had to start looking at things like that on my journey, 110%. And I appreciate the seasoned people. I appreciate the people that came into my life for a reason as well. But the relationship has ended. It has taken its course, and I accept it. I truly do accept it with no hard feelings. What lifetime friendship actually looks like. Lifetime friendships, I believe, are beautiful. I believe that there's not a lot. And I believe, even though that there's not a lot, that that's perfectly fine. For me, A lifetime friendship is remembering each other's dreams. Um, it's about surviving hard conversations, adapting instead of resisting the change, giving each other giving each other the space without fear. So I could give you space, and I'm not going to sit here in fear, thinking, "Oh, is this friendship done?" Or is it, it's allowing that person to have that space. Um, Celebrating growth instead of competing with it. I think a lot of times this happens in young girls' friendships, teenagers, even your 20s. When their friends are growing, whether it's in ambition, career, spiritual, whatever the growth is, some people feel that they need to compete, but lifetime friendship is not about competing. It's about celebrating each other, celebrating each other's accomplishments. And another big thing in a lifetime friendship that I realize what makes a lifetime friendship for me is that we both choose to be honest and transparent with each other over comfort. And I think that the true nature of any healthy foundation, any healthy relationship is honesty and transparency, two different things. Let me explain. Key, do you like my dress? I like it. It looks really nice. You know, I like that dress, girl. You look good. I'm being very transparent when I just come out and say it. You ask me a question, I'm going to tell you the truth. So I think that if you could have that in a friendship with somebody, where we're not judging each other and condemning each other, we're correcting each other at times, I think that makes a very good lifetime friendship. So my final words to you guys is that some people aren't meant to walk. No, some people are meant to walk beside you for every chapter. Some people are meant to teach you something, but the rare ones, the lifetime ones, don't just love who you were. They keep learning and loving you for who you are becoming. So if you got them ones, cherish them. And I'm telling you, like I said it before in this episode, everyone needs a lifetime friend. It's good for your mental wellness. So go out there and go and find one. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself in positions to be around people who could reciprocate, who could see you. Because if you know that that's the person that you have in your life, if you know you're a lifetime friend, you'll attract a lifetime friend. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Stay fly, stay fabulous, stay focused, stay godly, stay prayed up, stay all the way up, and check me out for episode 22 coming soon. All right. Let me know your comments. I hope I wasn't all over the place for this video, but I love you guys anyways. And thanks for kicking it with me.